And welcome to another review room tutorial. Today we're going to continue the discussion on the visibility section. So last time we talked about making applicants anonymous to judges. Today we're going to be talking about the other option. So submission attachments should be visible to reviewers. Now what is this section? So by default it's enabled, but I'll show you which section we're talking about so you can determine whether or not you want to enable this option. So when let's visit this application in particular, and I can show you the section that we're talking about. Oh, okay. So the reason that it's not here is because we've actually turned off the option for it. So let me go back to the permissions page. If we go back to the permissions tab, what we need to do is first add it in. So it's added in by default, but we've recently turned it off. So that section would be this one. Allow applicants to upload additional attachments to their submission. So obviously that needs to be enabled, and if it is, essentially if I refresh my page, now you'll see the additional attachment section. So this is a section right here. So if the applicant is uploading additional material, the question is, do you want the reviewers to see that information or not? If the answer is yes, then obviously you can leave it on. It is on by default, but if your answer is no, you can turn it off. Now, the other question here is show download application links. These will allow reviewers to download a zip or PDF of all the submission's assets. So by default, this is on. And what this does is if you turn it off, then reviewers will not be able to download the entire material that they're assigned to off of the web. So in other words, they'll have to read it on the web, on their computer, through the browser. So 99.9% of the time you would just leave this on. There are very, very, very rare cases where you would want to turn this off in situations where you just don't want the reviewers to download the application material and have it on their personal computer as well. So then the other question is show the applicant the current round of their application on their application list page. So in order to show you what this means, let's go back and assume the role of the user. I'll just go to the Manage Users section, and let's assume the role of this user right here. So when I click on this, well, I would need to log in as this user. So let's log in. So as soon as I do, what you're going to see is this section right here. And the reason I see this section is because I've enabled the creation of multiple submissions. So if users were not allowed to create more than one submission, then essentially the second that they logged in, they would basically see their application page, which is this page. However, because the applicant is able to create more than one submission, when they first log in, they're going to see a list of their submissions, so they can also create a new one if they want to. Now, the section that we're referring to in the previous tutorial was the highlighted section here. So the question is, do you want to enable the viewing of this the particular round that the person is in this listing page? So by default, this is turned on. So it makes sense for it to be on. In some rare cases, depending on the type of review room you're setting up, you may want that to be set to off. So let's go back here and go back to the visibility section. The last set of comments, the last set of boxes here are basically whether or not you want to allow certain groups to make anonymous comments. You can either make all document feedback anonymous, right, at the top. If you check this, then these become irrelevant. But if you don't want to make feedback anonymous, but you want to make it anonymous for certain groups, you can do that as well. Now, the other section is note visibility, and this is the last section we're talking about today. Essentially, by default, this is only shown to administrators. So let me show you specifically, let me just sign out of this application, sign back in as an administrator, and what I'll do is I'll show you exactly where that note is. So by default, admins are the only people who can create notes and also view those notes, and I'll show you right now where that's located. So if you wanted to create notes on applicants, you could do that. So manage global applicants, and let's click on an application, and then this one in particular, and this is the add note section. So essentially it lets you create post-it notes, and that will only be visible to admins.